Hello there guys, I'm the CHALL and welcome back to another video. Now today, we're going to be talking about the EFL League 2 playoff semi-finals. Obviously we know who the finalists are going to be now. It will be Exeter City taking on Northampton Town in the League 2 playoff final to join Crewe Alexandra, Plymouth Argyle and Swindon Town in League One next season. So who's going to be facing Donny next year? Is it going to be Northampton? Is it going to be Exeter? I don't know. Before you get into this video, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell for more football and basketball content, and let's get into this video. So we're going to be talking about the overall picture in terms of both legs together, and then we're going to be sort of trying to predict a final out of those two. So let's start off with Exeter Colchester. Now, I do really feel for Colchester because they did have a slightly better game in that first leg. However, you know, it was pretty evident from the second leg that Exeter were the better team in my opinion. Colchester had moments, not going to lie, but I think it was like a mixture of the two in the balance of 90 minutes in the second leg particularly. I think it was an Exeter swarm. And then, sort of the last 20 minutes of the second half, I felt like Colchester had an absolute pace on them to get back in this game. So for those of you who need a reminder of the goal scorers, I've got them down here. So, of course, in the 10th minute, Martin scored for Exeter. And then, of course, in the 58th minute, Richardson came in with the goal. And then Courtney Senior scored for Colchester in the 78th minute, so that made it 2-2, which of course, you know, led to the extra time, because of course they were on the same on aggregate, so it led to extra time, and Ryan Bowman in the 111th minute, giving Exeter that winning goal that takes them to Wembley Stadium on the 29th of June, I believe. So I'll be able to double check that, but it should be the 29th, and of course I'll predict the final, you know, later on in this episode. But, like I said, Exeter, I think, were the deserving winners in my opinion. I think they just had that little extra edge over Colchester to not take it to penalties. But there were equal moments in this game where they were both end-to-end at times. So, but I felt like Exeter just had that little bit extra in the second leg, and I think that Colchester were very hard done by due to the moments that they had in the game. So hopefully Colchester can bounce back next season. They can try and get automatic promotion or have to fight through the playoffs again next year. But bad luck, Colchester fans. Have a good season against Bolton in League 2. Next up then is Cheltenham Northampton Town. Now Cheltenham Northampton is a tale of two legs because the first leg, Cheltenham had a 2-0 lead and we thought, oh, it's going to be Cheltenham walking over at home. What happened to Cheltenham? What happened to Cheltenham? I'll tell you what happened. Northampton would beat them 3-0 in the second leg at Cheltenham. So Cheltenham are staying in League 2. Northampton's in the playoff final. It'll possibly be their first return to League 1 since 2017. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting, 2017-2018 season, but it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Now, of course, for those of you who need reminders on the goal scorers for Northampton, I've got them down here. So, of course, it started off in the 9th minute with Valentine Oliver, who is a former Morecambe player. And then, of course, on loan from West Brom in the 57th minute, and then 20 minutes later, Callum Morton with a double goal to give Northampton that aggregate lead. And they were behind 2-0 in the first leg, so, you know, to turn it around and win the aggregate scoreline 3-2 is not a mean feat. It's definitely good, and like I said, this will be Northampton's potential first trip back into League One in 2 years. So I think you know, they finished 23rd when they got relegated to League 2 back in 2018. So I think that, you know, Northampton, of course, they're bottom of the playoffs table. They were 7th in the league, so obviously, you know, if Port Vale were there, would they have gone up instead of Northampton to the Wembley final? Maybe. But I think Northampton do deserve it, and I think that Northampton definitely outclassed Cheltenham in that fixture. I'm sorry, Cheltenham fans, but I think your team was absolutely outclassed in that second fixture. And I think that Northampton were well deserved for the 3-0 win. It's a shame that Cheltenham bottled it in the second leg. But like I said with Colchester, hopefully your team can come back next season and fight again. But now that brings us to the playoff final. So that's Exeter and Northampton Town. Now, Exeter, of course, they haven't been in League One for, let's say, a good few years. I've got the stats down here, actually, in terms of, when they were last in the league. And looking at it, Exeter have not been in League One since 2012. The 11-12 season was when they were last in League One. They were second from bottom. They got relegated on 42 points. The season before they got relegated, they were 8th in the table with 70 points. And that was, that was when they had Jamie Curitan, as the top scorer. So, it's a very interesting one, and I think that Exeter not being in the league since 2012 is going to give them a bit of an edge and a push to want it more. But if you watched the video I did with Thogdad, big shout out to you, he wants his trip down to Exeter, his League 2 trip away to Exeter. So, I'm kind of hoping for Thogdad and Thogden's sake that Exeter don't win, but it'd be great if they did win, because maybe they might stay in the league. The next season, if they go up, maybe they might stay in the league and then Bolton go up from League 2 and then they get to face each other in League 1. So it might be a good result for everyone. But I think that it'd be great for Northampton to win the league win the playoffs as well, because of course, like I said, Northampton have not been in that competition in a couple of years. The last was in the 2017-2018 season when they finished second from bottom. So, I think both teams, like I said, their last season in League One, both teams finished second from bottom in their last League One campaign. So, it's a bit of third from bottom against third from bottom kind of thing in terms of the history. So, it's just about what team wants it more, really. I think Northampton can really take the momentum forward of turning around a 2-0 deficit into a 3-2 win in aggregate. But Exeter, of course, edging it over Colchester. Have they got enough left in the tank to battle Northampton Town? Now, of course, that's the big thing, Ryan Bowman versus Morton and Oliver. So, it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, Exeter have other attacking players like Matt Jay. But it's going to be interesting to see how the striker partnerships or the one striker, whatever they decide to go for in the lineups and the playoff final. It'll be interesting to see how they line up. It'll be interesting to see if the teams are changed from the second legs and whether there's any injury crisis to overcome. Of course, I didn't really see much injury crisis in the playoffs, to be honest, in the semi-final legs. But obviously, if someone's picked up a knock in training on the way to the final, we'll have to see, if they decide to switch them out and put them on the bench, put someone new in. So it's going to be very, very interesting to keep eyes on both teams. But like I said, only one of these teams can win the playoff final and head on up to Crewe, Swindon and Plymouth in League One to compete with the likes of Doncaster Rovers, my team. We'll see you next season if you go up. Of course, Luton, they're on the verge of relegation from the Championship. Hull City could be going down. We've got many other great teams in League One, haven't we? Gillingham, Blackpool, Fleetwood if they don't win the playoffs. There's some great teams in there. 3 of the playoff teams, don't forget, will be coming down. So it's out of Portsmouth, Oxford, Fleetwood and Wycombe. So you could be competing with 3 of those 4 teams next season. So it's going to be very, very interesting. So I can't wait for next season to see who we're going to play in League One and see what team we're going to play in League One next season. So it's going to be very interesting. But for now, guys, thank you very, very much for watching this video. I am going to review Man City Burnley, but that will be after. That'll be tomorrow, along with Leicester, Brighton, and Tottenham West Ham. So that's why I'm not reviewing it today. And I've also got a video coming out in a few days' time, hopefully, about who should go and stay from the Arsenal team this season, especially after the calamities against Brighton. So, thank you very much, guys. My name is the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.